Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. I love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
And Bryan.
Do I smell like a man?
So plenty of stuff to talk about, and then Kyle Dunnigan's coming in.
Yeah.
So look out for comedy, everybody. First, I got my first Thai massage over the weekend.
We pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah, thank
Orcas
you.
in Asia.
You
and Bob Kraft.
Never had. The only massages I've ever had was the relaxation massage because I like to relax.
Oh, there's nothing relaxing about a Thai
I was about to
massage.
say, I find it to be very aggressive and
Very
painful.
aggressive. Yes, aggressive and painful, and then there's another element as well. So
No, we know.
the Thai massage is
At the end, ultimately very releasing.
first thing I did was lay down on the table and go, wow, this thing's sturdy.
Yeah.
And it's wider. Most of them are about as wide as you are
Yeah.
because they can work around you.
Just to keep you from escaping.
But
Did you have the rail above you?
I didn't look up. I was scared to look up.
I promise you did.
It was like I was speaking in front of an emperor and I'd done wrong. And
You
I
had to show
lost
deference.
many
Yeah.
troops, so I just kind of stared at my feet the whole time. But at some point, the gal was on top of me. And God bless them, man. These are like the hardest working women in
Yes.
show business. I mean, they're little, but there's a lot of fight in those dogs, and they're on it, and they're working it.
Scrappy.
And I had a big old knot in my back. I rarely get it, but I just did. And she found it and was working that thing. And
It's not pleasant.
no, it's like the knot's the size of a golf ball, but it's like they're trying to shove it through a straw.
Yes.
With their elbow. You know what I mean? Just, it's not going anywhere.
It's all knees and elbows.
All knees and elbows.
It's fucking the ultimate fighting.
But I was like, I'll take it. But at a certain point, I realized, and this has to happen to them a lot, which is at some point, you know, my two greatest fears with a massage is either farting or rolling over with a boner. Those are the two greatest, probably the two greatest fears a man has when he's getting massaged is either blowing gas or turning over with a boner. Now, what women kind of need to know that the boner, the junk, oftentimes will kind of, they're like, it's been said many times, but your dick is like a rebel teenager, and whatever it's laying against is like a stepdad who was in the military. It's like,
fight back.
I'm pushing against this.
Right.
I'm fighting against this
Sure.
thing. You lie down on a nice...
It's Brando. What are you rebelling against?
Right.
What do you got?
What do you got? That's so when you lay down on your bed and you got the quilted top, there's room
There's cushion,
in there. But when
yeah.
when you're on the massage table, that's pushing. Yeah. And sometimes the junk just starts pushing back. Like,
boy.
I need air.
Aren't you supposed to like flip it up?
That would help, but then you're sort of laying on your dick the whole time.
That is for sure a strategy, Gina, but that happens later in the process. When
I
it's like, all right,
understand.
this thing is here to stay. I
Right.
need to deal with it.
Can't really flip up a ladybug.
As opposed to let's put out this, these embers before they
Right,
start burning.
Right.
It's trying to essentially do. If you ever see a rabbit trap, it's a crate with a stick under it and a string, and it's basically trying to create a rabbit trap
Understood.
underneath you. I need
Sure.
some daylight. So there's that element, but then the bigger thing with the tie is the fart element because the chick was on. She started between my legs. I was on my belly, got the legs spread out. And then just started kneading my ass cheeks. Just literally like there's got to be some toothpaste left in this guy. And I'm going to get it out. Like if she really, she couldn't have tried to get me to fart more if she'd put some compressed air up my asshole. Like literally just showed up with a tank like No Country for Old Men and just literally just gave me a boost.
A cattle stunner.
Right. Like she's just like pushing and kneading. It was like somebody said, I will give you $100 if you can get Carolla to fart. Right. I'll be listening in the next room. And she's like, I'll take that challenge.
I need a tank of oxygen and 20 minutes.
Yeah, and some KY and my rosaries. They spread your legs out. They come up from behind. They grab the ass cheeks. and they just start working and kneading, and even then they go under to your abdomen, like
pushing air pockets.
Look, if I shit myself at that point, there's not a court in the land that would ever convict me. It's
That's
like this
on them.
person did everything they could possibly do.
You were entrapped.
Yeah,
it was entrapment.
It's where they start too. That was right out of the gate. You know,
and enjoy the next 87 minutes.
So all I'm doing is trying not to fart for the first 20 minutes because she's just like literally just spreading cheeks and pushing and spreading. It was like. It was like when you perform a Heimlich on somebody and you know there's some gristle in their throat.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to keep, there's a fart in there somewhere and I'm going to get it out. I'm going to set it free. So there was that.
Gina, have you never had the Thai massage?
I've had many Thai massages.
Okay,
that's how I know it's aggressive.
This should not come as a surprise.
Well, I don't recall anyone spreading my legs open and working my ass cheeks, but I do know they'll get behind you and twist you into a backwards pretzel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also no reverence for the sack.
Oh, yeah, I'm not familiar
it's a target
problem.
Yeah, the regular massage, they set up like a kind of a perimeter. You know, like a sack perimeter. You know what I mean? Like
they tape it off.
They do what LAX does with news choppers. Like, hey, this is our airspace.
Right.
You can't enter into this. There's a perimeter around the sack at Burke Williams where they don't. No, this is hand wedged between the leg and the sack, like all the way up. And
whoa!
Oh yeah, there's movement.
Okay, wait a second. I don't mean to let my predator off the hook, but remember a couple years ago I told you I went for a Thai massage and a man gave it to me and I felt, and I think I was digitally probed.
You cannot. I don't think a woman can get a full Thai massage from a male and not feel like there was some definite borders and boundaries crossed.
Yeah, because I've had them from
Some
women.
chaos belunked.
I've had them from women and it is aggressive. But the ones I got from the man, I was like, did I just get molested?
Oh, I would think
Fine,
if you traded genders and had the exact same massage, it would feel like a light raping versus a therapeutic endeavor, just depending on the Adam's apple being there or not.
Right.
Because
maybe I was too hard on him.
Maybe the Thais do a lot of he-she's for that reason.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay.
It's like, hey, we need work.
Right.
No one's going to let a dude do this to them. Maybe if we just
how many Gina grads are there?
We could pick up some.
Hedge our bets.
We could pick up some work. So it was aggressive. Yeah, they twist you. They're up on you.
Did you notice her walking on you? Like, did you notice her feet? Because that's
I did
why
not.
there's a railing.
Yeah, I didn't get the walk.
Okay.
I
love that.
This chick was burning calories. Like, I mean, it's like I really like just tugging and pulling, and it was good. It got the knot out of my back. It was not 60 minutes of relaxation by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no.
It was essentially a car accident for 60 minutes.
It's
but
a workout.
When you're done, you're kind of like, man, worked with the knot.
Please tell me you tipped her very well.
Yeah, she got it. She got a good. And by the way, the Thai massage is 40% cheaper than the Burke Williams, whatever. I mean, in terms of calories burnt per price, they burn 10 times the calories and get half the pay.
You're right. Many years ago, when we were staying at I'm just about to call it Terranea in
high-end resort.
down in Rancho Palos Verdes. I've stayed there a few times. I'm nothing. But the first time, we're like, oh, should we get the in-room massage? And we're like, wait a second, there's Thai massage 5 minutes away. So we stayed at Terranea and went out off the reservation and came back. Yeah.
There's a one of these places in my neighborhood on Pico called Happy Relax, euphemistically called Happy Relax. Right. It is neither happy nor relaxing. I've been there. It's a fool me like twice situation where, there it is, Happy Relax. I showed up to this place and miserable. I'm like, I'll give it one more shot. And the second time, I literally was contemplating during the thing. I'm like, can I get like Google Translate for the word for like gentle or the word for like easy or light or whatever it is? Because I'm like, this is murder.
It's brutal.
Well, their idea
It sucks so bad.
I mean, it's also
Happy
there is no definition of medium.
No.
That's a cultural thing. It's sort of like when you go to a Indian place and you're like, not too hot, kind of
too spicy,
medium
sure.
hot.
You got it,
and your
boss.
head's on fire. You know, to them, that's medium.
Right.
To you, it's muy caliente.
Just one ghost pepper?
And right. And I think to the Thai women, that is their medium.
I think you're right.
But they're working the shit out of you. Anyway,
but
it got rid of the golf ball I had in my back.
Was this yesterday?
Yeah.
So today it should be pretty damn sore.
I know. I feel fantastic.
Oh, good for
I
you.
have a high threshold for pain,
that's
and then also I have a super high threshold for telling people what to do when they're doing it. So they should really give you a towel to bite on, like because I needed
strap.
a wooden spoon or strap or towel, like something. Because I was like, oh, God. The one they really get into is your feet. They start pressing those thumbs in your feet.
So
And it's like, but it's like in my mind, I'm like, okay, something good is happening.
Reflexology. You know, the pedicure place and the Thai massage do not heed your warning when you say, I'm a kicker. They don't care. They will wrestle you to the ground.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think the Thai massage could only be executed by the Thai people.
Agreed.
I feel like if there's some blonde chick from
cultural
Reseda tried to
appropriation,
pull
dude.
that off,
No.
it just wouldn't. Yeah, you couldn't. They wouldn't do it. You wouldn't
No
want
one
them to
would
do
stand
it.
for it.
Yes. All right. So I got the Thai massage. I was also thinking about engineering because I like to think about engineering. And there's an interesting school of thought. So one half of this country is sort of like global warming. We got to get the windmills and we got to get the solar and we got to do all this stuff. Then there's another half that's like fucking gas is $5 a gallon out here. But there's a sort of Elon Musk approach to it. And there's a bunch of guys that are like, look, as human beings, we adapt. So the temperature shall go up, you know, incrementally and in small ways, and then we're going to engineer our way around it. Well, Elon talked about carbon scrubbers, and you go to New Orleans. They had a seawall, and the seawall failed. But when they built a good seawall, then it didn't fail. And I was thinking about that. It's like, yeah. And then I always think, because I used to do earthquake rehab work, I always think in terms of earthquake. So the earth shaking is really the most immediate and profound. Earth is pissed. Like if you're superstitious native,
Sure.
It's not.
The gods are angry.
It's not this summer went up 1.5 degrees from last summer. It's like the ground underneath us is literally trying to kill us.
Yes.
Like it is shaking. And we've all heard about the Haitian refugees, and they had an assassination, but they had an earthquake.
Yes.
And the whole thing was like, Haiti had an earthquake. I don't know when the Haiti earthquake was, Kaylin or Chris, but it was a couple months back.
The
Anyway,
past 2 months.
Haiti had an
Yeah, it was in
earthquake.
August.
It destroyed Haiti, and now we have refugees.
And just when everything was going so well.
Right. And Haiti had a 7.2. Japan had a 6.1 the other day. And I thought to myself, right. And then we can kind of go, well, you can go Japan, you can go Haiti, but you can also go Los Angeles, which is we engineer around earthquakes here.
Sure.
Everything
Of course.
you build here is way overbuilt, like
Right.
way over-engineered, exquisitely over-engineered, which I do believe you hit a point and you stop, but we don't. We just keep going. But the point is Haiti is not over-engineered. Haiti just has a bunch of unreinforced masonry. It just comes down like a house of cards.
Right.
Like it unreinforced. I have literally gone to chimneys that have like stood 6 feet above a roof on an old house, got up on the roof and just pushed it over. You literally just push them with your hand. They'll just fall over.
Do they make those now with like rebar, like reinforced? Is that standard or
The way a chimney is built now is it might be built out of metal stud. It might have a double-walled stainless steel flue liner in it, and then you would stucco
Goes
around
around it.
that.
Okay.
And or many different ways, but we used to just stack bricks on top of each other with mortar. It's like, taking cream cheese and buttering up a
Right.
brick and setting it on top, and then more cream cheese and there was no spine running through
How
the
very
thing.
Three Little Pigs of you.
Yeah, and then every time there's an earthquake, I had it in my old house in the valley in the 72 earthquake, the house is there, and then the chimney falls over.
Right.
In our case, ours fell over and fell into the neighbor's yard. And by the way, because we're Carollas, we never had a chimney ever again. It was just like someone went up there and duct taped a windbreaker over the hole, or some saran wrap or something, and that was it. There were no more chimneys for the Carollas. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, Haiti is leveled because it's one big construction that's made with unreinforced masonry and bricks and blocks and stuff like that. And then you take a look at Japan. They engineer the shit out of everything. Tons of steel, and all the high buildings are on roller plates and shock absorbers or whatever. And nothing happens. Nothing. We make a big deal out of like earthquakes in LA, but no structures come down.
And people don't generally die.
Right. So Haiti has, 2,300 people dead and 300 people missing. And it's a huge, everything's shut down. It's a disaster. But it's not really the ground shaking that's different. It's the engineering and the preparation for when the ground shakes. And to me, that's a pretty good example. If we can engineer things, if we can get desalination plants going, and if we can carbon capture, and if we can make electricity from fission or fusion, or whatever it is. But it's like, smart people can engineer their way out of adversity as Earth or the atmosphere or the gods or whatever, whoever's pushing it, we can do pretty good with it. And that to me should be on the table as part of the discussion. Like the thing is like, we can lower fossil fuel, whatever, good. And we can look into mitigation. We can look into carbon scrubbers. We can look into ways to produce water or energy cleanly. It doesn't have to be as big a religion as it is. It can be essentially an engineering problem versus a sort of religious, quasi-religious problem.
So you're saying both approaches. So you've obviously heard we've all heard, an ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure. Why are we spending so much on the cure when we could spend a little bit up front on the prevention, right?
Well, the problem with the prevention is,
or is it like this is such an ingrained part of our society that it's not worth the ounce of prevention?
Well, here's the problem. The problem is China and India are producing all the carbon, not us. It's not the gals in Santa Monica who aren't recycling or who aren't using a paper straw or whatever.
They're not quite as regulated.
We tend to think the world revolves. And it's kind of interesting because the world does kind of revolve around our little 330 million people when it comes to music and culture and movies and trend setting and stuff like that. But when it comes to carbon, they got 1.3 billion people over there. How that's not a cultural, Jay-Z's not going to correct that, or LeBron James. Like we kind of go, hey, we set the trend. We do that in California. Like we do this and then the rest of the world follows. But if the rest of the world's not following, if China and India are not down with the plan because they're like developing or they don't give a fuck, then A, how big an impact are we going to make with our tiny little community here globally? And then B, do what you can and then start looking for
back-end solutions,
back-end engineering, just like we've done with air conditioning or medicine or like whatever we do, we just keep moving along. Because I feel like there's going to be the climate part or the change part, or if you will, sort of the earthquake part. Like the earthquake's going to hit. Let's be in the best position we can be to do it. All right. We still got, yes.
Oh, I was just going to tell you, Andy worked really hard yesterday on fulfilling the first half of your childhood. And I just want to give him a little credit. He spent 4.5 hours. Now you think, wow, what's wrong with him? Wasn't him. And I'll explain in a second. 4.5 hours purchasing, bringing home, and building a 8-foot basketball rim for the child to practice on. And can I just warn everyone, don't get the cheapest one at Big Five because it's like, well, this one's only like $130. There were no like screw patterns to put anything in. He was making holes, like shoving it in the metal. It was a disaster, but the hoop went up. Everyone had a great time playing it yesterday. The dog we're waiting on, but he does have the basketball hoop now.
Yeah, your son at least is a basketball hoop and a dog away from a decent childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, just decent.
Right.
Might
Get 'em
not
to zero.
be great, but that'll get you decent.
So
yeah.
you can get one. You put a little extra. We had a neighbor come over, wanting to, roll up his sleeves and get involved.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole thing, but we got it up. Then I was telling Bryan, took him to the Mr. Bones pumpkin patch,
Mr. Bones.
which
Mm-hmm.
your kids are probably a little old for now. But yeah, I was thinking to myself, just this one Saturday of Andy putting up a basketball hoop and us taking this child to a pumpkin patch, that was better than everything you had combined.
I had, at some point when I built the party house in Sherman Oaks, I was like, I'm building myself a good half-court hoop. And we did. And I went in with like a real glass backboard and industrial strength. Like, no,
You're ahead of
no
us.
chicken shit here. Because the thing about the ones that have the quarter-inch plexiglass thing, people start realizing all you have to do is launch the ball as hard as you want at it, and it'll go dead, and it'll just fall in. Like, everyone's bank shots are just really you just launching the ball at the thing. So I went full regulation and did it, and there's a crank in the back, and you can raise it and lower it.
Look at you.
And now, want to know how I always knew my sister came by and hung out at the pool without me and her kids? Again, I wouldn't have to know, but I always do know. And the reason I always do know is because I would show up to play hoop on the following Saturday, and the hoop was cranked down to 4 feet.
Oh,
sure.
for the kids, yeah.
Now, my thing is I get it.
Yeah.
The kids are little. You want to bring it down. And then when you're done,
Guess what other direction it goes?
then when you're done, you crank it back up.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know about humanity. It's like my theory with 3/4 of humanity is yeah, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
And thus, all is done.
All is done.
Yes.
Right.
That's how I feel about this microphone when I come in sometimes. If it's lower to 4 inches. Kaylin!
Yes. The ability, it is so insane how by the way, how aggressive or ambitious or whatever people can get when they want something
Right.
done, and how they go full Terry Schiavo soon as they're done. So, soon as they're whatever you're done with when you're done with what you need, boom.
They're Michael Corleone in
Done.
the restaurant after the assassination. Just drop the gun
Yeah,
and
walk away.
out. That's right.
Yeah, it's kind of the ultimate expression of that are litterers.
Mm-hmm.
They will go wait 20 cars into the McDonald's or the In-N-Out Burger,
Yeah.
whatever. They'll do whatever it takes to get their food. The second they've taken that last swallow of whatever, it's like, well, now there's empty shit
Yeah.
in my car and it's going out the
Yep.
window. That is, I'll bet you could probably learn all you need to learn about if you look at the litterer versus Mark Garrigus' wife, who I've spotted walking through the side streets of La Cañada, just stopping and picking stuff up
Dripping garbage.
along the walk just to hold it in her hand
Yeah.
until she came to the next open trash can.
She's mentally ill.
Yeah, could probably learn a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of geniuses and climate change and all that, Tesla, Elon, they moved out. They went to Austin, or they set their headquarters up. And I think we've talked about Lorena Gonzalez, who's a councilwoman for
San
San
Diego?
Diego, who basically told him to fuck off and hit the bricks a year ago. And he cited that.
That's
He's
been
like,
confirmed.
yeah, he's like, fuck this. Okay, fine. I'll leave and I'll take my 2 million jobs and my billions of tax or whatever. She's not giving up the ghost with him. I think
boy.
Max Zapata has a tweet or whatever. But it's also a very telling time. It's a good timestamp of where we're living. This crazy bitch who's contributed nothing to anything is taking the genius and his multi-billion-dollar tax revenue and just
And shunning him.
tell them to
Right.
fuck right off,
Right.
which is where we're at. And there's a lot of people who applaud her. Like, why let this patriarchy walk all over you? It's like, well, all right. But then there are other sort of downstream things like vendors and jobs and plants and everything else. But I'm sorry, do you have her? What was her first one?
She just said, fuck Elon Musk.
Right.
To the
Yeah.
point.
To the point, direct.
Yeah. Well, now, after Tesla announced they're moving to Austin, Lorena Gonzalez.
By the way, he wrote message received, which is fuck you, dullard. Like,
Here
you
we
have
go.
an 86 IQ. I'm going to take my huge brain to another state and make them a whole shitload of money.
Yeah, well, on Thursday, she tweeted, when people don't actually read the whole story, Elon makes too much of his money from taxpayer subsidies in California to pull out. And, yes, he's still awful. Worth $200 billion and left his janitors hanging during the pandemic.
Yeah, because I'm sure he micromanages the janitorial squad
Yeah.
over there at SpaceX.
custodial staff, yeah.
I'm sure he's having a meeting probably Mondays, 5:30, 6 a.m. with just the Latin-speaking janitorial. Probably use an interpreter, or
Right.
he probably speaks Spanish. But I'm sure he's managing the janitorial squad. I do love that the guy who's the bajillionaire with the 180 IQ is somehow... He's a smart guy, and I'm sure he's hands-on, but I bet even Elon Musk hires somebody
He probably
to deal with
delegates.
the janitorial squad. They could even be subcontractors. Like they could have just
Right.
contracted out with
Yeah.
some janitorial business that does his janitorial stuff.
Possible, I guess.
He did what to them again? He left them hanging?
Yeah, left him hanging during the pandemic.
Wow. Well, I've changed my mind about... by the way, I would be devastated if Elon Musk spent 10 seconds thinking about the janitorial needs of SpaceX.
He dropped into the interviews.
This is how
Hey.
these dumb bitches think, though. First off, she doesn't know what the fuck. Lorena Gonzalez is fucking retarded, number one. Number two, this is how they think. Like, oh, boy, I'm going to get him on this one. Some janitor rolled his ankle on a wet floor and wasn't fully compensated. As if Elon Musk even has any idea of what the fuck this nut job's talking about.
Yeah, she went on 14 hours ago. She tweeted about it again.
Ooh.
And she said, just a reminder, Elon Musk said he was moving his headquarters to Texas 18 months ago because of our state's COVID protections. He violated public health orders and forced workers back. He made $200 billion thanks to subsidies from California taxpayers. Yes, that's what inspired me to tweet, fuck Elon Musk.
All right. But by the way, these orders, I was watching the Alabama-Texas A&M game. 90,000 strong, going nuts, no mask. And then when Texas A&M beat number one, 80,000 people
Rushed the
all
field, yeah.
out on the field, all screaming at the top of their lungs. So get ready. Super spreader event. Now, the thing that's funny is the poor ESPN chick has to have her mask on.
Sure.
And then every human being around them is just
Spitting.
spitillating,
Yeah.
just just like screaming. She's dutifully wearing her little fucking mask to let everyone know where she stands. All right. Well, Elon probably thinks logically, and he probably realized that most of the COVID shutdown bullshit wasn't worth anything, so he probably encouraged his people to get back to work. But it's also when you have a shitload of orders to fulfill.
Right.
See, Lorena Gonzalez doesn't work. She fucking tweets. She doesn't. There's
pontificates.
no gravity where she lives. He lives in a world filled with gravity.
If this, then that.
To try to get to outer space. But also, if you've got 2,000 units back ordered of your Tesla vehicle and and your plant's been shut down and it seems arbitrary and it seems like it's been going on for too long, then yes, he would encourage them to get back to fulfill. But Lorena Gonzalez, all she does is tell guys like Elon Musk what to do. But that's it. She gets paid, COVID or not,
Right.
stay home or not, whatever in crazy mandates she helps shepherd, she's still getting paid.
Right.
This
So,
might
of course.
this might be a naive question, but I'm thinking more about this. Do you think Tesla? So this is Tesla alone, or Tesla and SpaceX? Do we know?
I don't know.
I thought it was just Tesla. Anyway,
a good point.
Do you think this will ultimately, or in the short term at least, Elon will profit from this? Tesla will profit from this, or is this a fuck me money, like making a point? Because he's obviously aware of Lorena Gonzalez and aware, like, a message received. You know, it's more of a statement than it is, I assume, a money like saving venture. Because he's keeping
Texas is
Well,
he's keeping
convenient.
he's keep footnote. I didn't see this. He's keeping the plant in Fremont, which is in East Bay, Northern California.
I think. Well, I'll base it on Nissan and Toyota and 10 other Silicon Valley whatever's leaving California and going to Texas or Florida or Louisiana or somewhere. Well, maybe Tennessee or something like that. The fact that many entities before him have fled, not because Lorena Gonzalez insulted them, but because their accountant told them they'd save a lot more. I think it's both. I think it's Lorena Gonzalez. It's also the climate that Lorena Gonzalez inspires, which is we're the real stars here. We're in charge. Like they do this stuff all the time. It's like, we gave you all these tax breaks. You're taking all this money. It's like, well, first things first. He's making all the money, Lorena Gonzalez. It's not your fucking money. I know you look at it as give him a tax break and somehow that's you giving him money. That's you not stealing more of his money. That's not you giving him money. Lorena Gonzalez, you create nothing. You pay for nothing. You contribute nothing. You decide if Elon should give you 25% or 32%. And when Texas gives him 25, he will leave over your 32, or what I'm making the numbers up. But it's not you giving him money, and it's not Texas giving him money. It's letting him keep his own money. This thing turned into like, we're just telling these people they got to pay their fair share. Like, we're letting them have this, or we're not letting them. It's like, you're not creating anything. You're taking a lot of money, and people who, the whole thing too is, who do you think's better at making money? Lorena Gonzalez or Elon Musk?
We'll never know.
Yeah.
Or Nissan or Lorena Gonzalez or Toyota or anybody and Lorena Gonzalez. The point is someone who runs a fucking donut truck is better at making money than Lorena Gonzalez. So you want to match wits with these people, don't do it. They're going to drive the donut truck to Texas. Right. That's the way it is. They're good at making money. They're much better. First off, they work in the private sector. They have to be good at making money. You legislate for $87,000 a year. You aren't good at making money. So don't try to trick that person who's good at making money into doing what you want to do, because they figured it out. Yeah. I think Elon has figured it out.
They don't have to
He's going to go there and he's going to make more money. All right. Let me tell you about Tommy John. Fall chaos in your pants, overheating 1 second, freezing the next. True. Be ready for anything with underwear that handles everything. Tommy John. I'm wearing mine right now. I would never dream of leaving the house without it. Breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric, 4 times the stretch of competing brands. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. Over 16 million pairs sold this fall. Upgrade what's underneath with new Tommy John underwear and their luxuriously soft loungewear. Looks good enough to wear anywhere, feels good enough to wear to bed. It's the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free. All right, so Kyle Dunnigan, not here yet, but on his way. I got stuff to talk about. Let's take a quick break. Be right back after this. I was literally sitting over the weekend looking at the TV and like what was on. Of course, I had the $6 Million Man.
Of course.
With Lee Majors taped. And, they'll give you the little box of like, here's this episode. And it was him like catching a wrecking ball and pushing it back. And I thought to myself, that's right. Wrecking ball was a huge deal. It was used like the evil contractors are coming in and they're going to get the wrecking ball and they're going to destroy the
family farm.
Yeah, it would be
tenements.
They would be like the orphanage or something, And it was like, and by the way, back to unreinforced masonry. You get that 4-story brick facade, one shot, the wrecking ball, the whole thing's coming down. You try that with steel or reinforced concrete, it's just going to make a dent in it or a hole in it, but the whole thing's not falling over. But anyway, there was so much like the wrecking balls in. And then at some point, maybe the hero teenage chick would jump onto the wrecking ball and hang on to it so they couldn't swing it. Yeah. But there was tons of like that. There's people like trapped in the building. And we were enamored with this thing that
pendulous.
Yeah. And it was really like, the notion of it seemed thousands of years old. We'll just take this big lead ball and we'll just swing it back and forth. But it was a big deal in the 60s and the 70s. They wove it into many action movies and many plots. And it was always either in the building or he had to stop the guy from swinging it. It would be a pretty satisfying job, though, swinging that wrecking ball.
I never thought about it, so we don't use those anymore. Then.
No.
Huh.
No, they don't.
Like controlled explosives now or whatever.
Yeah, they do not use those, and they don't. Oh, they're probably dangerous and liability, and it just seems insane.
Ball.
Taking a giant steel ball and just swinging it at things and having shit fly
Putting
everywhere.
asbestos out of the air.
Right.
Yes. I got a song thing to get into. I was I was in the valley yesterday. The West Valley, kind of deep valley, and I got some shows coming up, and we're going to film some of them, and I thought, I'm going to get myself a dress shirt. So I went into one of these places, and of course, I'm always annoyed, enamored, and delighted by the musical selection, because this place, like a big suit outlet place, probably had 4 people working at it. Average age of the human in that place was 61 and 7 months.
Well, by definition, male exclusively or close to it?
Yeah, it was all male, and there was one woman, but she was like, 65-year-old Armenian woman. Sure. And I started to notice the music that was playing, and I recorded it, and then Chris plugged it into his app, which figures out the song. This is a middle-aged plus Armenian gal looking at stuff. Why is this being pumped in? I don't get it. How did this happen?
No, I don't know.
And why aren't... First off, I know these people, they're reptilian. Like, they almost have to shut their brain off. Like, how is this not bothering you? How come you don't walk up to the guy and goes, maybe pull this one out of the rotation? It's
maybe stick in Fly Me to the Moon.
Right. Just do something.
Yeah, like Gina said, I don't mind this as like a hip hop song, but why in the male dominated suit shop?
Okay, couple things. This is the problem. The problem isn't the music. The problem is that we've now brought it into the steakhouses and the suit outlets and and the sports bars. Like we've made it ubiquitous. Like, could you imagine? Let's just go the other direction here. What if we just said, like, well, I like Toby Keith, so I want him playing at the clubs. I want to play him at the bars. You guys got a rave going on. I want to pump in some Toby Keith. You have a restaurant. You have a cool upscale sushi place on the west side. I'm pumping Toby. Like, I'm going to take this music, and I know it doesn't belong, but I'm going to fucking put it there. That's what I'm...
a boot in your ass.
That's what I'm going to do. Now, when you hear that, it's laughable. You're like, oh, please. Like, that would... First off, they'd burn the fucking place down, number one. Number two, it's like, it would be impossible. Well, I would argue that doing that, bringing the Toby Keith into, like, let's just say, cool Melrose shoe joint, like hipster Doc Martin Melrose shoe joint. I'm just going to pump Merle Haggard and Toby Keith. I'm just going to bring in all country. They go, what the fuck? That doesn't belong.
This is
I would argue
I know.
it's less out of bounds than you pumping this shit into the suit outlet in Canoga Park.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
That was tough.
That was tough. All right. We don't know where
Weird.
Kyle Dunnigan is, huh?
No,
No?
he's not picking up.
Buying a suit.
Question for you guys. Have you watched the new Chappelle special, The Closer?
I would never.
Really?
Hateful.
Oh, see, I was wondering what your opinion is because, it's all backlash. And he spends, I mean, spoiler here, he spends the last 15 minutes telling a story about this wonderful trans person who now he set up a college fund for their children.
Yeah.
And yet it's all backlash that Chappelle hates trans people?
Well, let's try to figure this one out. Chappelle knows what he's doing. He knows how this stuff's going to be received. He knows all the button pushing words,
Also a bit of F me money, too.
All the F me money.
You can do all
Yeah. So there's a couple things about Chappelle. I
Controversial
feel
term.
like a lot of the stuff he does, like, the big baby joke, the baby, kill the guy, but he makes fun of gays, and now he's canceled stuff. these are fairly basic thoughts. This isn't like, oh my God, like crazy wisdom from the mountain. Like, oh, I've never considered that.
Easily Googleable, 2 facts.
It's a shit many people have probably spoken about or whatever. He gets a ton of like style points.
Yes.
A ton. Because if you really just kind of break down the transcript of his stand-up, there's some really good stuff in there. And then there's just some, basic whatever, things an hour and 12 minutes. There's 4 or 5 really good zingers in there. And then the rest is, if you read it, you probably wouldn't. You probably go, it's okay.
Right.
But he's figured out the algorithm. You know what I mean? Like he's worked it out. And we're so sort of style conscious that he's figured out the algorithm, which is like if Dave Chappelle was on a couple of network sitcoms, it'd be like, oh, we don't need to listen to him anymore. Just think about the crafting of the career and the sort of style. Like if he was just on a ABC primetime sitcom, then his next stand-up special would come out and everyone would go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty pedestrian to me.
Anyway.
Whatever it is. But he's crafted it just right, which is he stays sort of out of the limelight and then he reemerges.
Yes.
And then he says things that, first off, the shit he says, if anyone said it 6 years ago, people go, why is he even saying it? Man is a man, a woman's a woman. Like, what's so controversial about this? Then he pushes all the buttons. And then he gets all this crazy press where everyone, right, left, it's kind of it's diabolical because it'll get everybody into the tent because all you have to do is push a few buttons on the left, get the LGBT, whatever community going. Oh, by the way, Max Pat, I think Justin Trudeau's he sent a tweet out the other day that had an LGBT plus Q plus thing that was like umlaut plus like his list is
it was absurdly long.
It's getting longer and longer and longer. But so piss off a lot of the folks on the left who make a lot of noise. They react. Then everyone on the right reacts to the people on the left. Not the actual material.
Of course.
It's just why is Joy Behar? Why is her nose so out of joint? So now you've got everybody.
Right.
You got one action. One is attacking the act. The other is attacking the people who attack the act. But that's still everybody.
Which is
and
weird.
now everyone's
in the ring.
talking about it.
You're right.
And then everybody's like, well, then all the folks on the right who might not even watch a Dave Chappelle special, like, all right, now I got to see what's going on here. And they all watch it. How many people watch it just simply because of the controversy? Like a lot. Many. So there is a method to that madness. Like,
no, you're right.
I think he knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. And by the way, as for style points, he has a podcast with Mos Def called The Midnight Miracle, which we are not cool enough to listen to. It's literally just like music and like thoughts and like smoking weed and like pontificating. I listened to it. I was like, I shouldn't be here. I'm not cool enough for this. So that you're right. Like this is the world that he has created, but it's so weird and confusing.
And well, there's a couple other things too. It's like, all right, what you don't want with a stand-up special is like, meh, I like this last one better. No, what you do is you have the left going hard. And then, bizarrely, the right is like, that shit is funny.
Sure.
Like
That's what I was going to say.
The people that never thought any of the shit was funny or
It's
even listened
confusing.
before, now you got to take a side. You can't stay in the middle. So now you have all these people going, this guy's a truth teller.
Right.
This guy's a sage. This guy's funny. They can't handle the truth and all that kind of stuff. And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because now you have all this reaction.
Right.
But then, of course, we forget, or it's not as important, but he makes fun of Jews. He makes fun of Asians.
Well, that's fine.
And he even says in the special, he says, like, everyone thinks I'm anti this, and I'm might be misquoting, but essentially saying, like, he's anti-white people. And he's happy to say that. And all the jokes are basically at that angle.
It's also, I don't know how we got to the point where stand-ups were somehow the bellwether for society and what actions and this is going to cause
it's not
this.
A sermon. It's a stand-up.
He's just doing a stand-up, and everyone's taking the bait on both sides of the aisle. And it's also like, it is interesting that, I mean, I've said it a million times. Look, school teachers, principals, maybe commercial airline pilots, maybe CEOs, when they start pontificating, you have to go, well, maybe we should listen because there could be some policy that follows what they're saying. If you have an official, a dignitary, a politician saying, here's what I'm thinking, then down the road, they could be some legislation that would create that. Dave Chappelle says what he wants to say, and then he goes back to his farm in Ohio and smokes cigarettes.
Right.
Who cares? That's like, when did we start caring about comedians? Like, when I grew up, George Carlin was saying subversive shit, or Richard Pryor, or whatever. They could say whatever they wanted because they had no control over anything. Right. They didn't create any policies. They just said what they wanted to say. And there was always that separation between the people who can actually create policies that could affect people and those who are making jokes. Now we're all blurred somehow. But it's also, I think it's the notion of the hate speak.
Yes.
I think somebody said, if somebody starts talking this way, then other people are going to snap into action. So this guy saying this is going to cause a bunch of people that take to the streets and go full homophobic and Matthew Shepard and beat the crap out of people. That's always the thinking, except for it doesn't manifest itself. And it's the same group who was making fun of Tipper Gore for like rock music and violent video games. Like, so what? Come on. That's not going to cause anyone to go out. They're playing a video game. They're going to go murder their neighbor. You know, it's like, yes, no, we don't. Be consistent.
There was a trans writer, show creator,
Jacqueline Moore. She's a producer for Dear White People,
who won't work with Netflix anymore.
She announced. Yeah,
that's going to be our loss, I'm sure. But I was looking forward so much to her body of work.
I read the article.
Oodles of entertainment that was going to pour from her.
And Chris, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but I think it was her kind of op-ed saying, like, when somebody who everyone looks up to so much and everyone listens to, like Dave Chappelle, feeds it into the zeitgeist that trans people are other, that we're not human, that you're a man or a woman, that we're sick, that we're wrong, then that permeates into society.
Well, that's always the statement, but it never permeates. No one ever buys into it. The reality is people are way too narcissistic to burn that many calories on whatever the community is. You know what I mean? Like, all right, we live in California. There used to be a lot of Indians around. They're the indigenous people, and they have a community and whatever. I've invested 0 calories into thinking about helping, fixing, hurting, helping. Doesn't matter. This is somebody who's not me. So people generally, think about themselves, think about their family. Also, where is then, at some point, it's like Fauci's very worried about college football and what could happen in those stadiums. Okay, fine. That was 5 weeks ago. He's very worried. All right, now what happened? Right. So you're very worried about people bashing the trans community and the homos, whatever. Okay, where is it? What's going on? Show me all the news footage of, the Pride Parade being attacked by Antifa or whatever it is. Like, something's got to come out of the other end at some point. You can't just keep pontificating about what's going. And by the way, these people always seem to know what's in the hearts of Americans. You know what I mean? Like, this guy looks up to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle made a joke about a trans person. Now this person's going to get his pitchfork and he's going to hit the street. It's like, how, soothsayer, do you know so much about what lies in the hearts of all Americans? It's 2021. Dave Chappelle's not getting anyone to do anything. But she quit. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
He quit.
It's kind of funny. They quit. Online is so this is huge news over the weekend. And then I saw a huge part of the reaction was, wait a minute, the person who show runs Dear White People is white, and now they're freaking out over that.
Oh, wow. Shit. Cancel. Do you have Trudeau's LGBTQ plus too?
Yeah.
Let's see what it is.
Oh, my goodness. It looks like a math problem. People across the country are lighting candles to honor Indigenous women, girls, and 2S LGBTQIA+ people who are missing or have been murdered. We must continue to work together, raise awareness, and advocate to end this ongoing national tragedy.
The LGBT thing,
SL.
it's 2SL LGBT
QQ.
IA plus. It's a perfect example of sort of progressive government, which is no one ever removes a letter. They just add a letter. So
Right.
6 years ago, it was LGBT. I'd never heard of it before 6 years ago, but then it was LGBT. Every 9 months, we add another letter. That's how it works. We just keep adding. My whole thing is, when do we ever subtract? My feeling is like, this is. And by the way, when you just end it with plus,
that just covers all bases.
Do you want to know what it stands for?
Oh, yeah.
But are you in a group that everyone else is in? Does that make you a group? You know, if everyone is in, at some point, everyone is in a group. Like when they go, I stand up for the LGBT community and the trans community and the 2L BFD plus and the QIA BLT plus community. Plus, I stand for women. Plus, I stand for Asian and Black and Hispanic and Indigenous people and people of color. It's like, at a certain point, isn't that everybody?
It's everyone.
Yeah.
You've crossed over many.
Danny Bonaducci and Ted Nugent are the only two people you don't represent? Those are the only two people left. Because you represent everybody at this point. You stand with them? It's a lot of fucking standing.
Yeah.
You got to fucking.
Tired.
You better get some New Balance if you're going to be doing that much standing with fucking communities.
100% bullshit.
Would you like to know?
Yes, I would love to know.
So we know LGBTQ. Okay, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer. IA, intersex, and asexual, but my favorite is the 2S. That is two-spirit.
Oh, my.
Two-spirit.
Two-spirit.
So, like, maybe your spirit is masculine, maybe your spirit is feminine.
Does that have something to do with, like, indigenous people?
Does it?
It refers to a person who identifies as having both a masculine and a feminine spirit. And
we're getting into metaphysical.
And is used by some indigenous North Americans to describe their sexual identity.
Oh, my.
We really have to take those 7 nut jobs and add them into the equation? There's 4 people on the planet who have the spirit of a man and the spirit of a woman.
And getting into your sort of take of it being narcissistic, it's like, God bless. Great. Like, I feel like in my circle, there are people that represent every single one of those things. And you know what? I don't know that they feel like they give a shit whether Justin Trudeau knows who they are or not.
All roads lead to narcissism, people. Nobody gives a fuck about your spirit. We care about you like paying taxes, littering, graffiti, not picking up your dog shit. Don't give a flying fuck about your male or female spirit.
Should they pay twice the taxes?
They should, or they should certainly. Look, if I do auto insurance, I'm going to insure based on the male spirit.
That's right.
You got to pick one.
Slightly lower rate.
Make a few more bucks. All right, Kyle Dunnigan is, I don't know where, but we got the Rotten Tomatoes game to play. Indochino, that's where I should have went to get my shirt instead of this place where I didn't have to listen to Red. The right outfit brings out something special in us, and I've been to the Oscars in Indochino, movie premieres, Gina's wedding. I was wearing my Indochino blazer on that. Suit makes a difference, man. And this stuff is beautiful. You create the best looks, and they have very affordable prices. Indochino offers completely custom fit suits, shirts, casual wear, and more at a surprisingly affordable price. Every piece is made to your exact measurements. I mean, you can get pleats, no pleats, the pockets. You want the flap on the pocket. You want the button on the pocket. You want just a slit and no button. It's all options there. Every detail. Fabric, label, monogram if you want, all customizable, all just starting at $3.99 with all customizations. And all right, we'll take a quick break. We'll do the Rotten Tomatoes game right after this.
All right, Dawson's out, so I'll be reading the movies today. Earlier this year, we tried to mix things up and discuss movies with similar titles but different plots. For example, you'd never want to confuse Mystic Pizza, a charming romantic comedy starring Julia Roberts, with Mystic River, a bleak melodrama about sexual abuse and a murdered teenager. So,
wait a second. I'm going to tie a nice bow on this. Kaylin, you remember the mid-'80s band Red?
Of course.
Simply Red.
Simply Red.
Yeah, if you listen to a hit from Simply Red and then Red that was played at the men's suit warehouse in Canoga Park, I think you're going to see quite a departure in musicality.
Yeah.
We'll get that ready, but go ahead, Max Beth.
Well, so as a reminder, all the scoring will be the same, but instead of 5 rounds, we're going to do 4 rounds, 2 movies each.
The Simply Red guy had the Kenny G hairstyle
Yeah,
going
he did.
before Kenny G.
Oh, wow.
I'll keep holding on.
Sorry.
All right, here's the first round. First off, you've likely heard about this tense thriller starring Brie Larson as a young mother trying to raise her son,
Room.
That's going to be good.
even though they're both
Yes.
being held captive in a small shed. And if you've ever lived in Los Angeles, you've likely seen the billboards paid for by the enigmatic filmmaker named Tommy Wiseau, who cast himself in a film that has gone on to obtain legendary cult status. From 2015, Room, and from 2003, The Room.
The question is both fresh, but how fresh?
So we're going to pick both those. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah. Give me
Gina,
2
The
scores
Room
each.
seems like something you would have seen and loved.
The Room?
Yeah.
Oh, like at the midnight showing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, that's,
You saw it?
Of course I did.
of course you did. You
Where's-
see this cemetery?
No, I did see it in an enclosed movie theater, but with the rest of the hipsters.
Of course, of course.
I was what was the Brie? You see the Brie Larson one?
Yes, this movie fucked me up so bad I cried in the bathroom for like 20 minutes afterwards. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about The Room.
The Room.
No, Room really is very fucking disturbing.
It is. Yeah.
About the premise. This girl was like captured, kidnapped, a mother's nightmare, like just off the street or whatever as a teenager, and then kept in this tool shed for years and years, and has this kid, has this baby.
Impregnated.
Yeah, grows up with him, and this is his life. He doesn't know because they have a black and white TV in the shed. He thinks, she's told him like it's basically, whatever, nuclear holocaust out there. Everything's black and white because, to keep him from going crazy. And then their escape and what happens after the escape. It's disturbing.
All right. Well, I have not seen either one of these movies, but it's not going to stop me from rendering a decision. All right. I have Room at 77 and The Room at 12.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, so Room is an excellent movie. I give it 90.
Wow.
The Room is by all objective measures a 0% movie. It's barely even a movie. It's incomprehensible. However, I feel like there's probably some hipster,
Yes.
like this is a lot of fun, or it's a cult classic.
And don't forget James Franco. And he reinterpreted the whole
Sure.
thing.
Right.
Many years later, yeah. So I gave this is still very bad. I gave it 17.
Okay, so I think there's an 80-point difference. I went 92 with Room, and 12 with The Room.
Wow. Room you guys loved.
It's really good.
All right, Room is certified fresh at 93%.
Wow.
It's low.
And The Room is rotten at 23%.
Oh,
Good start. 93 for the audience for the room, for Room.
Very consistent.
It's excellent. It's
I
really,
should
really
watch it.
good. It's not fun.
no.
All right. Next up, after the passing of Chadwick Boseman, many people celebrated his life by going back and watching his films, including his role as a now iconic Marvel superhero. Imagine how awkward it was for the one person that put on the Peter Sellers jewel caper
Oh,
instead.
no. Come on. This is insulting.
From 2018, Black Panther, and from 1963, The Pink Panther.
This is no way to honor Chadwick
That's
Boseman's
great.
legacy. That's it all out.
Pink Panther. Pink Panther was one of these things that people don't really realize, but it was really driven by the soundtrack. Yeah, the great music to it. And
Never saw
then
it.
Peter Sellers, who was always kind of considered a genius, looks like David Niven's in front too.
Like this was on like some sort of rotation on cable when I was a kid. I of course liked the beginning with the credits with the actual cartoon, but is this a good movie?
I don't know. The 60s movies were weird. Like it was so much about an aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's a cool sports car in
Right.
this movie. Like, could you imagine?
5 stars.
Imagine a movie based on like somebody just went and bought like a Ferrari 360 or something. Like this car is going to be in this movie the whole time.
It's a character. It's so
and
good.
it's like, all right, well, we're at 60% already just with the car.
Poster.
Yeah, it's like you had a cool car, a cool kind of aesthetic, a real like cool, classy chick and like
Right.
cocktail attire.
yeah, with a long cigarette holder.
Right, a couple of cool scenes at a big casino or
Yeah.
something. The music, you needed a cool Matt Helm type apartment where like with a round bed that rotated or something. It was like
A sunken living room.
it was just all stuff you'd use in the poster or the
Right,
trailer. You know what I
right.
mean? Show the guy driving the car. There wasn't that much going on. I mean, in a weird way, it was kind of whatever James Bond was in that period.
Right.
Like cool car, hot chick,
Was it
Tuxedo.
good?
bad
Who cares?
dude,
Yeah.
lots of music.
Yeah.
Other than that, we didn't really know what was going on.
Okay.
So
What year was it?
1963.
is that Blake Edwards who did that? I think it was a Blake Edwards thing. All right. It's so hard to tell. 'Cause,
Yes,
like,
Blake Edwards' presentation.
what do we
of production.
Yeah, what do we compare them to?
All I remember is they used to show, and I still never seen it. I don't know anything about it. Blake Edwards, A Fine Mess.
Yeah, Blake Edwards did 10.
Oh.
He did a movie with John Ritter
Yeah.
called Skin Deep.
Okay.
Best known films: Breakfast at Tiffany's, Days of Wine and Roses, 10, Victor Victoria.
Oh, I love that
Come
movie.
on, Gina.
I love Victor
No
Victoria.
love for Blake Edwards?
But do you
I hate
remember?
Breakfast at Tiffany's so much.
But do you remember A Fine Mess?
Yeah. Yeah, but Blake Edwards was
Huge.
prolific
Yeah.
and
Wow.
huge for 30 years.
Okay.
The Skin Deep thing starred John Ritter. I wonder what this would look like. It was like this bizarre, controversial, outlandish, funny thing. But there was a scene in Skin Deep where John Ritter and maybe another guy had to try on a new condom that was like glow in the dark.
Oh boy.
And then
good.
someone shut the lights and they like got in a fight. And all you could see were these two
Like Star
dicks
Wars.
swinging
Yeah, yeah,
around.
that's
Great.
I don't know how that would hold up. You're probably going to look at it and go, "This looks like fried hell." Like
That's funny, though.
It sounds fun.
It's very Spaceballs.
All right, I will
Gina, please.
pink space cocks.
That's right.
I will.
And I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Pink Panther was nostalgic and okay.
We're all guessing.
I'm
We have no
drawing
idea.
dead on Pink Panther.
All right,
I don't know shit.
I got Pink Panther at 63, and I know Black Panther's 96 or whatever. Like it got a lot of woke help. It was a good movie. I liked it, but it could be close to 100%.
So 96
what's
and
your-
63.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I did 63 as well. Came out in 63, and I have no idea, so I just kind of guessed. Black Panther it's a good movie. It's a little overrated. Got a few woke points, but I said 89.
I said for Black Panther, I stuck with my 92. And Pink Panther, I was going to say 63 because the year gave it a little bump for the style. Adam convinced me 69.
Black Panther, certified fresh, 96%.
Ooh.
Adam got the -5.
Shit.
And the Pink Panther, also fresh at 88%.
Holy
Whoa.
shit.
Wow.
A lot of. I don't think it was that good a movie, but it's all we had.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, Peter Sellers was basically. Peter Sellers was Borat. He was Sacha
Baron
Baron
Cohen.
Baron Cohen. He was Sacha Baron Cohen. Like people are like, that guy's a genius.
Right.
And
He
so
did all
he
the
got
he did all the characters and
he got a lot of help, a lot of praise for being a genius, and also he died early. I don't know. He must have died of some cancer or something in his later 50s or something.
So he never fizzled out
Yeah, he wasn't doing commercials for real estate
for the general.
for the general or whatever. It's like he Peter Sellers must have died early. I mean, in his later 50s. I don't know.
You got a 5-point deduction for that one?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Don't remind him.
What did he die at? When did Peter Sellers die?
Died 1980, I think that's what it says. Yeah, July of 1980.
How old was he?
I don't know. Let me check.
You gotta. So he put this body work together. He sort of got labeled a genius, and then he died early. So that's good for legacy.
54.
54.
Could have used that information before we guessed, by the
Yes.
way.
All right.
Before we get to the next movie, do you want to see some of Skin Deep? And
I do want to see the
More than
condom, the glow-in-the-dark condom scene from Blake Edwards' Skin Deep, starring the late, great John Ritter.
Here it is.
Shuts the light.
Easy. I know I haven't had one that lasted this long since I was 12.
He's just walking in.
Wanted to invest.
It's got a.
Just see the glow.
It's all black. You just see a glow-in-the-dark boner in the middle.
Oh, my God. Damn that head. Oh, call that head. Oh.
Somebody else comes in. The big red one.
No, it's me. I know it's you. Get out of here. Boy, now. How'd you know it was me? It's talking. God, there's nobody else.
All right, probably not good pot.
Hijinks.
It was.
Hijinks ensue.
It was.
This is very Mel Brooks.
Yeah, it was very just glow-in-the-dark condom. That's the only thing you can see. It's all black, and then the dick swinging around the whole thing. Considered pretty risque back in the day.
Pretty funny.
All right.
All right, next round.
Next round.
Gather the kids around for this J.J. Abrams directed sci-fi film about aliens and family, inspired by the earlier works of Steven Spielberg. But God help you if you accidentally put on the Nicolas Cage snuff film thriller of a similar name
Oh no!
from
Don't do it.
2011,
Yep.
Super 8,
Right.
and from 1999, 8mm.
These are fun.
They're both romps.
All right. Super 8's fun. 8mm. That's right.
He investigates a snuff film.
Right.
You know what's interesting about Super 8? It's like, yeah, I saw it in the theater. It's J.J. Abrams. But as Bryan would say, at this point, nobody says you got to see Super 8.
What was that one about?
The kids were filming, and it was, what, like the 80s?
The kids were making a movie, the Super 8 camera, and some supernatural event happened, and they accidentally caught the event on camera. Hilarity ensues.
I'm confusing it with the other one where they're filming everything.
Cloverfield.
This is part of a J.J. Abrams run, including Cloverfield, where the hype far outweighed the product. This was almost Shyamalan-esque. Mm-hmm. In the sense that, like, the hype was outrageous. A great trailer, everyone was talking about it, and the movie was, wasn't quite that.
All right. I have no idea on either one of these.
Now I want to watch 8mm again.
No, you don't. It's not fun. Not as fun as Room.
Did they like the subject matter, though? I mean, not like it, but
Intrigued.
Did they look at it as intriguing or noble or something?
Shit, I don't know.
Someone famous directed, Brian De Palma or someone.
I have no living idea. All right.
Hold on.
I actually saw it recently.
Okay, this is
You saw
8mm
8mm.
for the first time recently.
Oh, for the first time.
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking that as a sign that you heard something good about it. I'm going to go Super 8 56, 8mm 71.
Oh, I got them backwards. Super 8 is still kind of good, but not.
Oh, you were complaining about it so much.
The hype was outrageous, but it's still okay.
Well,
I said
I listened to
70,
you.
79 for Super 8, and 8mm. It's. I think some people like the style, but I hated it. I said 51.
I said I don't have a clue on earth, so I'm giving him the same score.
I was going to give him the same score too, and then Brian started talking about I saw it recently, which I thought meant someone said, "Oh, this is good."
I've wised up with Bryan. I gave him the same score of 79.
Oh no, 8mm is not that good.
All right, Super 8 is certified fresh.
Oh, shit.
81%.
Oh, good.
And the Joel Schumacher directed
There you
8mm is rotten
That's why I saw it.
at 23%.
Oh, my
boy.
God.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh, my God. What did you say?
I said 50. Oh, I said 56. Yeah.
I said 79.
Wait, no, Adam said,
Adam said 56 for Super 8.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And for 8mm, you're like 70 something.
71. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
said 51.
I was going to do 56 and 56, but I modified it because I thought.
8mm is not a good movie.
Why would you see it recently?
Because Schumacher died, and I wanted to see the last couple movies of his that I hadn't seen.
Oh, okay. God damn it.
I know, it's some nerdy shit.
I just thought somebody said, "Oh, you haven't seen Super 8 or 8
not
millimeter?
good.
You
It's
got to
not
see.
simply
you gotta-
must.
You got to see it."
There's a part where Nick Cage is this hardened detective, right? He's brought in because he's seen it all, and they show him the film, like, I want you to investigate this. And the film is so hard to watch. He's physically wincing and almost like he's being electrocuted. Like, oh, I can't watch this.
Right? Yeah,
It's
it seemed
overacting.
for dramatic
Turn
effect.
it off.
All right.
All right, last round. And finally, come out to play with the ultra-violent New York City street gangs at war with one another in the action-packed cult classic that inspired Caitlin Bean's favorite Halloween costume. Or, instead, put on this drama about an estranged family that finds redemption amidst the
Warrior.
biggest MMA tournament ever held from 1979, The Warriors, and from 2011, Warrior.
Adam, tell me you've seen Warrior. You would like Warrior.
Probably. Yeah.
A young Tom Hardy. And Joel
This
Edgerton.
is a good movie.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Warriors is kind of a B movie that back when you could just kind of do a B movie and catch like the zeitgeist, and you had to have a couple little scenes in it that would infect kids, and then they would go to the schoolyard and they'd go, "Warriors, come out and play, yay!" And then that's how it worked back then. Like you just had a couple stupid little scenes. By the way, the actor probably improvised the whole fucking, probably the script said, "Now you call the Warriors out to play," and the actor just went, "Well,
Yeah, with the dink, dink,
come out
dink,
with
dink.
this little Pepsi
Right.
bottles on it. Come out and play, yeah."
So why do they all hate the Warriors?
It's like New York street gangs. And by the way,
They're all themed.
Yeah, like one's in baseball
the
uniform.
theme.
I
Yeah.
saw this recently, too.
I've never seen it.
first time.
I don't know what if there's 500,000 gangs or whatever it says up there. Why do they all hate this gang?
They strayed into other gangs' turf.
Oh.
Then somebody was killed, and they
Yeah.
blamed the Warriors for killing the leader of some other gang.
Okay.
And then there was this DJ, this Afro-American DJ. She had a huge afro, and they'd just show her lips, and she'd be like talking, like, "I hear the Warriors can't find their way home."
She was basically narrating on the radio what was
Right.
happening.
Oh, I love that.
It's very bad.
Watch
it's
out,
also
Warriors.
it's also one of those, if you want to see what sort of New York felt like in
Yeah.
the 70s,
How
it
it's
was
perceived.
very
Yeah.
that way. It was just a fucking gang infested free for all.
Was this the one where the black guy kept saying, "Can you dig it"?
Yeah.
Well, this
yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah, Kayla knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like the leader. He was the czar of all the gangs.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's culty. It's kind of fun. It's also fun just to see what the 70s looked like in New York City. That's the reason you should watch this.
Now it makes me want to listen to Scandal.
yeah.
Shooting at
We
the walls
are-
of heartache.
Bang, bang. All right.
That's right.
Let's see.
At one point, a couple of the Warriors are making their way home through New York, through Central Park, but they can't help but rape someone. They see a woman, they're like, "Oh well, I mean, we're here."
You're doing
When in
a
Central Park.
70s New York movie. Was this like 78, 79?
76.
76.
79.
79.
I don't know.
You had to have a Central Park rape scene in every New York-based movie.
They were
from the
compelled. They were
70s.
fleeing for their
Right.
lives, but they're like, "Oh, there's a woman. Let's do our thing."
Let's see. All right, but what are the critics? It wasn't a good movie, but everyone knows the movie.
Right.
It was sort of Scarface.
Right.
Like everyone not good.
Not great.
Everyone knows it. Couple of scenes. Some people really like it a lot for some scary reason. I'm going to say, you guys locked in?
Yeah. Yep.
I got the Warriors at 49 and Warrior at 82.
There you go. I got the Warriors at 48 and Warrior at 88.
I was doing so well. This is where I possibly spin out. I didn't mean to be funny to doing. I literally have no idea what the Warriors is. I figured it got huge, like cool points, style points. So I stuck with the same numbers as my last guess, 79 and 79.
That's a mistake.
Okay.
The Warriors is certified fresh
No, it is not.
at 87%.
Oh, my God.
Back in,
They just
baby.
swung the game.
Wow.
And Warrior is certified fresh at 83%.
Oh,
Wow.
God. Thank you, Jesus.
How on earth?
This is a fantastic day.
You may have won the game on that
Yes,
one.
I feel so good.
The Warriors, the movies, 87%.
I am
Because
shocked.
you got to think of how like dipshit hipsters
That
think.
was like 70s.
No offense, Caleb.
That had to all
Wow.
come in the 70s.
Holy
God
cow.
damn it. What was what you dressed up as the baseball team player?
Yeah, the baseball guy on that poster right there with the face paint. And the
I
outfit and
love
everything.
It just didn't take much back then. Just a bat or a condom or something, a little face paint, and that was like enough. Like, we got this movie.
I feel rejuvenated.
Oh, it was in this movie. All right. Well, anyway, you guys got the Red music worked out at some point. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so here let's get the scores tallied up. In third place, Adam Carolla. A score of 159.
Oof.
Remember,
it's 8 scores,
so
though.
credible.
Well, it's also 8 movies.
And the winner
Oh, no.
of today's game,
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Gina Grad, the score of 105. Brian, you were at 115.
God damn.
10
Yes.
points.
This is a death.
Yeah, turnabout. Fair play.
I feel great.
Let me tell you about Miro, collaborative online whiteboarding platform created to help people visualize, discuss, and share work. Miro is a blank slate, just like the whiteboard hanging in your office. Write, draw, use videos, sticky notes, diagrams, or audio to conceptualize your vision. We use it when we make films over at Chassis Media. It's just such a help. We used to just use a whiteboard. Now we use Miro. Miro is creating a revolution in how we create and collaborate. Join over 20 million users today. Sign up and use the Miro free today. That's right. Use it free today. Just sign up. Use Miro free today. Go to Miro, that's Miro.com/Adam to start your free account. Sign up today for 3 free whiteboards with this exclusive offer. Don't delay. Start using Miro today. Miro.com/Adam.